I will put on.
World where people go trekking, who have questions about trekking. Two people who go trekking are here to answer your questions about trekking. Introducing the Tuesday Tune-In, hosted by Andy and Dave.
Are we live? No.
As far as we know, it's live.
Let's check if we're live, mate. Let's check if we're live.
Are we live?
Live.
Tackling subjects such as
Talking about good travel,
charities,
altitude, flying,
Footwear.
vaccination, fitness.
so you can make an informed decision about trips and go into them as prepared as possible. Years of expertise shrouded in top-level banter. Tune in every Tuesday at 12:30-ish.
It's quite accurate this week.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what I feel like though? It's like it can't be anything more of a letdown when he goes on that, and then he says that's like,
Yeah, hey everyone, how you doing? Andy and Dave.
yeah. For those of you that don't know him, this is Andy.
It's only been a couple of weeks.
Occasionally he does do these. No, good to have you back, mate. Good to have you back.
Yeah, no, it's been a mad couple of weeks. And I missed. I know you had the joy of Tuesday Tune-In with the girls last week, and it looked like an awesome live. So I hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, hello to everyone. We've got a lot of people on today's live because I think there's some sort of competition day that's happened.
There is a competition that's happened. Do you know what? How are we sounding, everybody? Because we're getting some information that it may be a little bit echoey.
Oh, really? We've had that recently, haven't we?
We have had it recently, yeah.
The audio. We've got this microphone that is clearly called a Yeti.
Yeah.
Oh, Yeti on there? No, it hasn't. But hopefully that's coming through okay. If you can hear us, just give us a big thumbs up.
Well, there's so many people on here that I've so we got Stacey Morris, Alex, Louise, Mia, Colin.
Lots of Evertrackers
Lots
on here.
of Evertrack.
Of course, Bri is on here. I mean, I'm sure Bri has got his speech as well. So.
Well, actually, Brian posted earlier that there's no need for anyone else to kind of get excited because he's wearing his lucky undercrackers today. As soon as I saw that, I struck his name off.
I didn't do that, Brian, I promise.
Yeah, awesome. So hey Marie, thank you very much, Artemis. Sounds good.
All good. We got Georgie. Georgie, always interested to find out where you are today. Shona, who we got? We got Bev. No, it's great. It's nice to see some familiar faces, and also obviously we know that the competition creates a lot of buzz, a lot of energy. And we know there's a lot of newbies on here as well. So yeah, that's what we did the little intro there, because every Tuesday since, what was it, probably about 4 weeks into the first lockdown. I know, don't want to use that word, but we're going to talk about it. In 2020, we started these every Tuesday Tune-In, and it's it's something we just started off the cuff, and it's become something of a thing now. So yeah, we people seem to enjoy it, and they get their questions answered. And that's what me and Dave are here to do.
Like a mob, like the Beatles, everywhere I go. Do you know what? So it has been noted that we're actually from Kurt Reeve, I think, because we're flipped.
Oh,
so actually, this does say Evertrack, but those of you that are used to seeing ambulances in your rearview mirror will get the gist of it.
So we can flip it, which will look a bit weird, but we're going to go with it. I know for any newbies.
See, now I feel like I'm off.
Any newbies, they always like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that with the wrong way around. But there we go. At least you can see what we're wearing. I kind of feel we're on brand today, Dave. We're never this coordinated.
Yeah, look, Yeti hat.
I know, and I got Everest on my cap. This was from our head of ops in Nepal, who visited us last week. He brought a nice little cap for us. You just got promoted.
I know. I am now on the graphic side. You see that graphic? This is really difficult. No, this way, isn't it?
It's like that way. Yeah, it's weird.
I know by the graphic. So, Andy, thank you for joining us, and tell us what's today all about.
No, it is great. It is great, and I know we kind of haven't said is it live, but we hope it's live. Well, we are, and yeah, today is going to be all about Machu Picchu. It's been, if you've been part of the community, the Evertracker community for any number of months or years. I know a lot of our Evertrackers have been with us a long time, coming on our trips. We like to run some competitions, and this is actually our first Machu Picchu competition we've ever done, and it's been nuts. It's our biggest competition we've ever run in terms of number of entries. We've had over 19,000 people enter, which is 19,000 people, which is nuts.
19,
yeah, 1,000.
1,019.
No, 19,000.
19K.
19K.
Is that how many people are watching now?
No. Only 223.
Oh,
That's fine. But 80% of people don't watch it live. If you're watching this live, love it. If you do, because we're talking about Machu Picchu today, any questions about anything to do with the trip, drop them in the comments.
Yeah.
We've had loads of questions coming already, about 25, 30 questions. So it's going to be, hopefully keep today about an hour. Usually Tuesday tune-in is about an hour. We'll obviously be announcing the winner of the Machu Picchu competition. So that'll be one person, and then they'll obviously bring a friend or mate, or you don't have to, but you can choose someone from our lovely Evertrack community if you want. But yeah, we'll be announcing that. But to start off, Dave, Machu Picchu.
Yep.
I know it's been one that obviously we launched really during lockdown, didn't we? Which was kind of it was a very new trip for us. And we've had lots of Evertrackers go on it now. Kind of early, we used to call them test pilots, but people go on our treks that we launched quite early. They give us great feedback. We've also adjusted it because I think going to Machu Picchu is obviously very popular. A lot of people know about it. They may have heard of the Inca Trail. They may have heard of some of the other routes. And when we look at any trip that we do, we kind of look at it from, we try and stand back and look at it and think, what could we do that would be more of an Evertrack trip? Maybe a little bit more remote, maybe a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
And we kind of put this trip together with that in mind. So we don't really go on the Salcante route or the Inca Trail. We go on a little bit because you have to really to get into Machu Picchu. But we wanted to create some other route, and there was another route called the Tomokaea route, which is essentially just a gigantic valley. That's what we call the trek, the Hidden Valley, which is as remote as you can get in that region. The only actual trek that you can walk directly into Machu Picchu is in the Citadel, as everyone's seen, is the Inca Trail. But over the last kind of several years, there's been a lot of issues around permits. The Peruvian government have also brought some challenges with how long you can stay there per, number of permits per day, which is great because it means it keeps it kind of restricted and sustainable. Because we want people to view and experience Machu Picchu, but we wanted to make it a bit more of a trek as well, not just a day tour essentially. Because you can get the bus all the way up there, and we don't have to do any trekking at all. But that wouldn't be an Evertrack trip.
No.
So that's what we thought, wasn't it? We want let's create something a little bit different.
Well, right? we like to kind of push the envelope a little bit when it comes to these treks and make them an Evertrack trip, because we know how special these things are. We started our lives as Evertrackers really as trekkers. Before the Ever came into it, we were trekkers like you guys, and we went out on these trips
forever.
And we did these amazing things, and we know that they're much more than just a holiday or a one-off trip and things like that. They're special and they mean a lot to people, and they make a difference in your life. And when you come back, you think, that was amazing. That changed my life for the better. I want to go and do more. And that's why whenever we look at these trips, we think, well, how do we use that ethos and make it that trip? That's why we didn't want to just do perhaps the Inca Trail, not to denigrate the Inca Trail.
Exactly.
I think any way that anytime you're trekking, you're winning. But also we do know that it has become a little bit of a procession. There's always going to be really popular sort of bottlenecks on any trip where you find that lots of people gather at the same place at the same time. But I think with the Inca Trail, that's pretty much what it is now. So we thought to ourselves, how do we sprinkle a little bit of adventure on that bad boy?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what we do. We like things a little bit more remote, and certainly as well looking at it from sustainable travel. I think going on more remote routes, you do take the pressure off the busier areas. We think it's definitely been part of our ethos the last few years. So going back to what I was saying in terms of we're creating it during lockdown, a lot of Evertrackers go, and then we've tweaked the itinerary a little bit. We've built more acclimatization. I love when people share their WhatsApp number as well. It's funny.
I gotta be honest. I probably wouldn't message it if anyone's seeing that.
I know it's all good. I've had someone else, which is quite funny. I think someone mentioned cocaine for altitude, which is always good. I mean, if you're in South America, hey, you're all adults. They do have coca tea out there, which I heard is really good for altitude. So
I think he was on about doing lines though, like snorting.
Slightly different.
I would probably advise against it.
Yeah.
Because if you get arrested with it,
well, this is it. Yeah, professionally, obviously we say stay clear of it. But hey, it's nice to have Heather on here as well. She's been one of our Evertrackers who've been on the trip. Didn't see another tourist until we hit the Inca Trail at the end. Was stunning. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
It's nice to get some feedback, and we've had we've spoken to some of our other trackers and tweaked it a little bit. We think we've got it down to a T now, and that's why we wanted to kind of push it out and promote it a bit more, because Everest Base Camp for us it was our first trip that we created. It was about 6 years ago. It's mad. And we had lots of people go out to Nepal. Nepal is kind of our baby, if you know what I mean. It was like where our Big Mac came from, which is Everest Base Camp, and then people will come back, our other trackers, and they want to go to places like Kili, Machu Picchu, which is why we've tried to create other cool trips. And yeah, certainly with this feedback we got, we feel like we've got it down to a T now.
Yeah.
Like with regards to going. I'm actually out in Peru in about 3.5 weeks, so I'm looking forward to going out there as well, just catching up with the team. We definitely be getting some nice footage as well, which would be great.
I have to stay in Wales, right?
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, cheers, mate. No, it's good.
The team need you.
No, the Tuesday tune-in people, they need me. But
this is it.
Maybe we'll try and get some footage of you when you're out there. Do you reckon you better join the Tuesday tune-in while you're out there?
If we got signal, we'll see how it goes. It's if I can hook a satellite dish up to like an Alpaca or something, and get them to stay still, maybe we'll try and do it. But yeah, it's certainly, Peru is kind of one of those destinations that is a little bit, you could class it as off the beaten track. It's not your average place to go. Certainly when you come into this area of the world, it does have that element of danger, a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
And I think that sits with us, in terms of the actual trip itself. It kind of makes it more of a, for us anyway, it's one on the bucket list.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, because obviously Machu Picchu is an incredibly popular destination for people to trek, but yeah, it's still in South America.
Exactly.
You're still in Peru, and it's still got a real feel of South America about it, which is why we wanted to go off the beaten track a little bit and kind of do the Tomoquea route, because we want you to experience what it's like to be, camping in the wild in Peru with pretty much no one else around you, just have yourself, the team, and the mountains to yourself.
Exactly.
It's a special one. It's a special one.
And it's, I've just seen some, I think it was Beth there just mentioned, Beth Arden was mentioning about exploring Peru a bit more in the cities. So yeah, on all of our trips, acclimatization is kind of the thing, because we don't want to just send people to a destination, and a high altitude is a challenge.
Yeah. And,
in Peru, a lot of the big cities around there are high altitude, especially places like Cusco, it's over 3,000 meters. Your body is already challenging, is already, working to acclimatize. So yeah, we have got a couple of acclimatization days. You get a couple of days in Cusco to explore. We also have an acclimatization day in this, I forgot the actual name of it, but it's called Little Cusco.
Yeah.
But it's in, I think it's called the Alhambra Cordillera, which is another area of Peru that you actually get to do an acclimatization day. We have changed this. We did do previously, which was great. It was great for acclimatization, but we kind of tweaked it. We used to do basically, it was like a mountain biking day, but we kind of tweaked it and thought, you know what, let's go to another part and do some trekking, and then that's to acclimatize. So you do get a bit more time to acclimatize before you actually hit the trek, because Machu Picchu isn't actually that high altitude. It's only just over 2,000 meters, but the actual route that we take goes to 4,900 meters. So you are going
over the
Tokto Pass, yeah.
Over the Tokto Pass, yeah. I mean, if you want to go altitude, you can add on Rainbow Mountain as well.
You can do, yeah. If you're on a trip, or you win this trip, or
5,000 meters.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Yeah, it's really high.
I can't remember the exact height in Rainbow Mountain. It's certainly an add-on for the trips. Very popular. Again, we've had lots of other trackers go there. So yeah, it's a bit of an all-rounder really, and something we've kind of tweaked as well is actually your experience in Machu Picchu. So you've got the trekking part, which lasts for about 4 days, plus the 1 day trekking, and then you've got the Machu Picchu section.
Yeah.
What we've done now is actually go from, there's actually a trailhead called 104. Basically, it's called Trailhead 104. It's like 104 kilometers, and basically you hike all the way from there, all the way through the Sun Gate and up to Machu Picchu. So you don't get to go in at that point because it's because of their rules, regulations. You're not allowed in without a permit at that time, and that does take a whole day to get there.
Yeah.
And then what you do is then you go down to Aguas Calientes, stay there for the night, and then you go back up then to explore the citadel, the actual Machu Picchu, then the following day. So you actually get to see it twice, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And something we thought after the feedback was, people get a bit more time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I hope that kind of, maybe tickles your fancy in terms of what the trek is about. Sorry, I'm knocking the table here. but it's certainly got us excited about Machu Picchu going forward. But right, we're going to answer some questions now because we've got a lot.
I think we've got
a lot around Machu Picchu today, which is really. I think I've got like 40 questions already.
Yeah, we're getting
amazing.
We're getting mixed reviews on the coca tea. Some person said it was lush. Another person said it tasted like pond.
Brilliant, brilliant.
This is it. I loved it. I love this level of feedback. A couple of randomers. I think whenever we do this, we always end up with some randomers. So one guy's asking, he's asked twice then what our favorite car is. Do you know what? I'm going to make him wait because I was actually going to do that on the next Tuesday tune-in. So we were going to do our like favorite cars next week.
Favorite cars, brilliant. So go for it. Just while I saw there was a gent. I think his name was Robert Smith. Any chance of climbing Huayna Picchu? Yes, you can. Certainly with the permits. Basically, it's about $15 on top, but it's not always available. If there's an option to, you can. So we do leave that option, but it just depends on the weather, depends on the group. But the option is there, Rob, definitely. If you want to climb it, mate.
Awesome. So should I dive in?
Yeah, go for it. I think we had some questions yesterday, but go for it.
Yeah, we had quite a few. So this is an email I think that came in from Kerry.
Okay.
How's it going, Kerry? Do you think this is suitable for a fairly fit 52-year-old? You've wanted to see Machu Picchu your whole life, but worrying now you've left it a bit late. How fit you need to be? Kerry, I can just say have you left it too late? No.
Yeah.
Can you get there if you're fairly fit? 100%. All of our trips, although they are a real challenge, we built them in such a way that they are achievable by pretty much anybody with a desire to go there. As long as you put in some training and you are fairly fit, then the rest is up to us. We've designed the route so it acclimatizes you very gradually. On all of our trips, we have that climb high, sleep low. So we mentioned earlier about going over the Tokdo Pass. Obviously that takes you up quite high, but then once you've registered it, you come back down. All of this serves to kind of help you acclimatize and keep you feeling well and strong. But 100%, you absolutely, by the sounds of it, 52, still young, fairly fit. That's awesome. Right. You've probably got all the pieces already. All you need to do is just put the worries to one side. Don't let the doubts and the worries get in the way of you going out there and seeing Machu Picchu and having an amazing trip. So, Kerry, let's get you out there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just as an add-on to that, like we get a lot of Evertrekkers who think they're too old, but actually, just seeing some comments in the High Altitude Evertrekkers Facebook group, we've had like Evertrekkers at Everest Base Camp in their mid-70s. It just depends on you. How much do you want it? If you want to go there and you've got that time, because I know as you tend to get older, you get a bit more time. Maybe if you've got kids or anything and they're not around anymore, you've got a bit more flexibility. We do find that people in their 50s and 60s, they want to now do this stuff. And if you've got the inclination, 100%. You mentioned fitness. Certainly, like Dave said, you don't need to be like a superhero or anything. You just got to have that want to go there. The more fitness, you'll have a more enjoyable time.
Yeah.
But I'd say Machu Picchu on a difficulty level, I'd say Everest Base Camp or Kilimanjaro is much more difficult than Machu Picchu. It's not to say it's easy. None of the trips are easy because they're trekking, they're at high altitude, but it's certainly achievable by, like Dave said, by everyday people.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely.
Next one, just looking at, I think there's actually some similar questions. I think Mandy Stokes mentioned a similar thing, a middle-aged woman. What kind of training program? I think about fitness there. I suppose perfect off the back of that, Mandy. In terms of fitness, you want to get out there because there's no technical parts to this. It's all walking, it's all trekking. So you don't need to be a climber essentially. In terms of training, just get out, pack on your back, put the miles in. Even if you're out like once a week, maybe 3-4 times a month, maybe in the gym, just doing some cardio, single leg movements, so just looking after your body, just do some regular exercise, it'll help. 100%.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine. So don't think that you've got to do like a strict training program. We get a lot of shapes and sizes on our trek. Absolutely. And a lot of shapes and sizes that actually complete the trek and achieve things. But the fitter you are, the better you'll have, the better time you'll have.
Yep.
In terms of specific training programs, we partner with the Altitude Centre in London. Really good guys. We've been partnered with them for a couple of years. And as any customers of ours, they do get in the members areas little form you get to fill in, which goes to the Altitude Centre, and then they can get back to you with any specific training plans or things like that. Obviously chargeable, but they do provide you with some information on on that kind of stuff. You know, and the altitude guys that they are the specialists in this.
Yeah.
To try and get your body in the best place ready before altitude.
Yeah, awesome. I see a couple of people, guys. We haven't announced the winner yet. We'll be doing that shortly. We're just trying to do as many of these questions as we can. Then we'll announce the winner, and then we'll do perhaps a few more. So Stacey Morris has asked, would a single woman feel safe on your expeditions? Honestly, Stacey, in my experience, I would say yes. We've had lots and lots of single women. I actually say this quite regularly, that women are braver than men, because men always seem to do these trips with a friend. Women tend to do it on their own. And I've never actually had any feedback other than they really enjoyed it and they felt like the group was very nice and inclusive. And so were the local people. So I would say absolutely, you can feel safe. There's a lot of single women that have gone on our trips who are also part of the high altitude Evertrekkers group. So if you wanted to chat to some and get a good feel for the trip and things like that, 100% jump on those trips. A friend of ours was also a customer and an Evertrekker, Shona. She's a regular on here. I met her in Scotland, and I remember when I think she was due to do her first ever trip. I forget where it was, but she couldn't find any of her friends to do it. So that was the first time she actually ever just went ahead and did a solo trip. And now she loves it. And solo trekking is actually part of the overall appeal. Going out there, meeting new people, immersing yourself. But in terms of feeling safe, I would say absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. You hit on a good point as well. Like we get way more solo female travelers than guys, like Dave said. And it's certainly in Peru. It's like anywhere in the world. You have your places where you don't want to be on your own. But if you're on an Evertrek trip and you're with your guide, and you're never really on your own as that such. Some people do want to go on their solo treks without groups. But if you're with a group, you are. You will feel safe, and some people are more comfortable traveling solo than others. Like I quite like traveling solo. Did it from an early age. You get some people who don't, but it's good to kind of maybe push the envelope a bit and think, okay, I know it's going outside your comfort zone, but by going traveling solo, it does bring other stuff into the equation. It does bring more, makes you more independent, makes you more make decisions differently. I'd say it would be a good challenge, wouldn't it? If you're thinking about it, you never travelled on your own. Imagine if you did. I reckon that after it, you probably think, that was easy. That was fine. As always, though, there's parts of the world that, can be a bit dodgy. You can't get around it. But you know what? I actually feel like certain places of the world probably a lot safer than I do at 3 a.m. in Cardiff. Put it that way.
You're going to point to me there. No, a lot safer than when I'm with this guy. We've heard the sound's got a bit muffled then, so I don't know if you want to just play with the microphone.
Let's have a little.
Head of tech and
hello.
Apparently the sound is gone.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
Guys, are we still there? Are we still there? Let us know if the sound has got.
Gone fuzzy sounding, guys. Hello. Yeah, it's weird. We haven't changed it, but how are we coming through now? Can you just let us know how we're doing? Better.
Okay. Maybe it just needed a whack.
Just needed a whack.
The really good question that's come in from Rob Halliday. How much can altitude sickness be issues for first timers doing Machu Picchu?
Yeah, good question.
It's one of those things that, thanks guys, everyone's saying it's really good. That's awesome.
Great.
Wouldn't want you to miss our dulcet tones. Rob, with regards to altitude with all of our trips, that's what we specialize in, is these high altitude trekking adventures. So it's the preeminent part of the trip that we kind of look forward to, and it's really what makes it an adventure. Now, one thing I've said before is that the first time we go to altitude, every time we go to altitude is the first time for everyone, essentially, because we pretty much live at sea level. The body doesn't retain any acclimatization, so every time you go back, you need to reacclimatize. So with first timers, it can be a new experience. Sometimes it can be a little bit disconcerting because your body does react to it in certain ways that you would never really experience at sea level. One thing I would say is that there are lots and lots of things that you can do to make sure that you acclimatize well. We'll do a lot of it for you as well. One, by designing the itinerary. So we do that climb high, sleep low, we gain our altitude very gradually. All of our guides are highly experienced, and they'll make sure you've got plenty of food and water, which is essential. And then there's a couple of things you can do. So controlling your pace, making sure that you're not sprinting or walking too fast. I always say that if you're in a group, stick in the middle or the back. If you're on your own with a guide, just follow his lead. And if you feel like you're going too fast, slow down. And also there's Diamox, which we could do a whole live on Diamox. Essentially, it's a medication that climbers and hikers use at high altitude to help them acclimatize. Our guides carry it, and you can also bring your own. If you want to know about that, just drop us an email. But yeah, 100%. You know, it can. You probably won't get altitude sickness at Machu Picchu on your first time. Some people do.
Yeah.
I think as long as we do everything we can right first time, so hydration, pace, nutrition, and then medication, then you know it doesn't need to be a showstopper.
Exactly. Nice. It's really good. Really nice comments coming here as well. When you're on your own, you're never on your own. Groups are brilliant. Can't believe I'm reading these fab questions from the old man of Hoy. That's from Kate Rigby. Who knew there'd be phone signal? That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, let us know where you're all at. If you're all at some crazy, I know some of you might be at home, which is cool. But some of you,
isn't Georgie usually inside the generator?
George is usually somewhere crazy.
Yeah.
Let's have a list. Just reading some of these comments. Really good, guys. Traveled solo in Bolivia, Southeast Asia, and Africa. Beth Harden. Sounds awesome. I think, and some people want to do Kili. Some people talk about base camp as well. K2 base camp seems to be really popular.
Yeah.
We'll definitely try and get through all these questions. There was one actually. Who was it? I think it was. That's it. I think it was Rob. Here we go. I got it on the email. How long have you been doing this? How many adventures a year do you do? Good question. Yeah, just especially for any newbies who haven't been part of the Trekker community, we've been running high altitude treks since early 2016 when we started in Nepal, and we've kind of grown from that now. You know, especially our community of Trekkers has grown substantially, which is great. And you know, we always like to change things up a little bit by changing some of the itineraries. Obviously, there's some of the classics, but we always like to do either the longest route or the more remote routes. And we only do high altitude treks. We're quite a specialist in that way. You know, we do add-ons and things that you can do. I think some people have asked here if they're in Peru, how long is the trek? So the actual itinerary that we do is 12 days. But a lot of people do add-ons, like there's add-ons to Rainbow Mountain, which you can do like a day or a couple of days. There's actually add-ons as well to the Galapagos.
Yep.
So if any scuba divers out there, I'm a scuba diver myself. The Galapagos is like 3 or 4 day itinerary you can go out there and do. So because of where you are geographically, it's kind of easy-ish to get to. You know, speaking to our team, that was something that we're gonna add as an add-on.
The Galapagos.
I never heard it said. That sounds fun.
It was on the phone the other day, and someone asked me about the Galapagos Islands. Wow. And I was like, the Galapagos Islands, the Galapagos.
I know, it took a while to click then.
I didn't want to sound like I didn't know in case it was something.
Yeah.
But
no, it's certainly some great questions here as well. Yeah, how long do you, was it Merrill, how long do you stop on the summit, Machu Picchu, was it sunrise or sunset? So yeah, with the actual government at the moment, they limit it to 3 hours with the, so basically your entry into Machu Picchu, you get about 3 hours. That's the permit that you're allowed on there. You sometimes sneak it over a little bit, but they are getting quite strict.
Yeah.
A lot stricter than they used to be. I know a lot of people used to say, oh, I used to have a lot of time, but all the companies are in the same boat now. Yeah, and in terms of sunrise or sunset, so basically there's 2 times that you get them. So with regards to permits now, as long as we get like the flights and everything, you know, we basically, with regards to flights and things, is about a 2-month cutoff. So we need all that information, and we can get the earlier pass. We've had some customers who've got the morning slot. We've had some customers who've had the afternoon slot. Sometimes they've been in the morning. They've had, unfortunately, a bit of cloud. But ideally, we'd like to go in the morning. That's the ideal situation, because then we've got some time for Hawaii Picchu in the afternoon or after we do that. But yeah, it just depends on how early we get those permits. Because with us, you know, we've had customers book like 2 years ago, but the permits for us, and when we get the permits, is we can only do that when we get the flight details, for instance. So yeah, we kind of manage that kind of internally. But yeah, for you guys, yeah, we definitely, our aim is to do the morning session. But obviously, that anything adventure travel, things happen. You know, we always like to be transparent with all of our trekkers, and you know, we obviously want you guys to have as good a trip as you can have. Like us, you know, we were there, we want to go in the morning, right? But if there's limitations, I know we've had some customers where there were strikes out there. It can happen anywhere. Yeah. Here in the UK, right? You know, we've obviously got to try and remain a little bit flexible. But yeah, our goal is to get that morning one, if that makes sense.
So I've had a couple of questions from Amber, Eden, and Antonia, but they're kind of all linked, so I'll go through them. So Amber and Eden have asked how busy are the tourist attractions, and Antonia says the lack of tourists on the route kind of sounds very appealing. We agree. Do you see any people along the route living or working, or is it one of those moments in life where you get to experience somewhere that feels truly remote? So the first thing I would say is any tourist attractions, or you've got Machu Picchu, there are certain things in Aguas Calientes, which is just outside the actual Machu Picchu site, where there's some hot springs. So anytime you get like a tourist attraction, you'll find tourists. We have chosen our route because we kind of take in those moments and then we kind of veer off and go on a quieter, more secluded route. So to answer Antonia, you will see some tourists. It's unavoidable. Anytime you go pretty much on any trek, unless you're doing something that's unexplored, you're going to bump into people. But yeah, you will see locals. You will be in the wilds sort of camping. But you do kind of see some local farmers and things like that on the route, and you get to see a little bit of what Peruvian life is like in those mountain regions, which is kind of what we're all about, really. Because when we first started going to Nepal, what we loved was not just reaching an X on a map that is Everest Base Camp or Kalapata, but it's the journey. And you know, when you're meeting people along the way and you're learning about their way of life, all of that knowledge like greatly enriches the whole experience. And one of the things that I speak to, one of the things, you know, people always say is, man, that place has stuck with me. And it doesn't matter where they go, whether it's South America, Africa, or Asia, they always come back and they always say, oh, that place stuck with me. The people were so amazing. And and I think that's what we try and get out of every trip. So yeah, you will get that experience on our Machu Picchu trip. Yeah, exactly. It is. You hit the nail on the head there, right? Talking about, you know, I know it's a cliche, isn't it? It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. You know, definitely, you know, on our wall in that room there, it says it's all about the journey, because we really think it is. There we go, Charlotte Ranger, all about the journey. Yeah, Charlotte knows. Charlotte knows, and it really is, especially in like, it does enrich your experience. You know, you're meeting people, the landscape. You know, also as Dave knows, the suffering of your altitude, the challenge, right? If you like marathons or hiking in the mountains, or maybe you've done 3 Peaks Challenge, or you know, even if you've gone and maybe climbed Penavan or Ben Nevis, whatever it is, it's a challenge, isn't it? And once you've done that, it kind of makes you feel good, right? At the end, it might not feel good at the time. We call it type 2 fun, because the fun that is not really fun at the time, but afterwards you're like, wow, that was awesome. You know, and I think definitely this sits in that. I mean, if we look at all of our trips and we kind of look at them, you know, Machu Picchu trip definitely is different because of the history aspect. You know, the trek is amazing. We'll always be trekking, but that, I think there's something about going to an ancient civilization that's in the mid, you know, on the outskirts of like the Amazon jungle, and you come across it, and it's pretty cool, isn't it? It's pretty cool when you talk about it out loud like that. You know, if any Indiana Jones fans out there, or Dora the Explorer, whoever you watch, you know, Dora the Explorer. Well, she explored, didn't she? She was awesome. So we're not going to go with like you know, Ranulph Fiennes or Roll. Who's the other one? Roald Amundsen. Roald Amundsen. It's more of like the polars. We've got Dora the Explorer. Dora the Explorer. Hey, let me tell you, it sounds good. When you think about it, or if you're an archaeologist like Kaylee. Exactly. You know what? I wonder, like, how many people have been inspired as a child by Dora. Dora, you know, it was Indiana Jones for me. I got to be honest. Just, you know, just the look and feel and the adventure, the danger. I don't know why, but I think Machu Picchu kind of draws that kind of nostalgic feeling. I think because it's an ancient civilization. It is. It's got that history to it. You know, so when you're traveling to a place that is sort of frozen in time, from thousands of years ago, you can't help but bring that sort of feeling back. We've had a couple of questions. Okay. So one of them was like, sort of, how long is our Machu Picchu trip? So 12 days. Yeah, 12 days. And then another person asked, when's the best time of year to go? Yeah. So pretty much we're looking at May to September, and then kind of December to March. December to March is like the warmest time to go, but also, you know, whenever you get like warm weather in these climates, that usually involves a little bit of rain as well. But yeah, so those are kind of our peak times. We are quite flexible with the amount of times that we do go. We try and get as much sort of, you know, we'll squeeze as many dates as we can into sort of the best times of year to go, to kind of give people the option. But yeah, those are the best. Nice. Now, some really good questions actually.
I think Richie Morioni, have you ever had a medivac? Anyone? Did it go to plan? Yeah, Richie. On some of our trips, things happen, right? And yeah, you can do all you got to do, but you can be unlucky, like any trek, any experience in life. Yeah, we've had. Just to talk about a few off the cuff. We've had some people in Nepal who we've had to evacuate. Unfortunately, because of altitude sickness, sometimes people who've had like really bad and debilitating like stomach infections, with maybe some bacteria or food. I think any part of travel in remote regions of the world, there's always that risk. But we always talk about like danger. There's managed danger and unmanaged danger. When it comes to our treks, there's certainly that aspect of manage what's in our control. Things like what you can eat, your pace. What sort of guide have we got? What route are we taking? Also, what are you carrying? Where's your body at? There's so many things that we can control, and then there's things you can't control. The bad stuff like avalanches. All that. We can go into detail on that. But certainly when it comes to medevacing someone, yeah, like all of our operations in any country have got a specific plan on that with our operators.
Yeah.
If things happen and we need to get you out of there, we can get you out of there. Yeah, certainly. And that's, they're all the guides, all guides that essentially work for Evertrek, they're part of Evertrek. They're very good guides. I mean, they're like in Nepal, for instance, we get a lot of people who have guides who have climbed Everest, for instance. In South America, we've got a lot of guides who've one of them, Juan, who's climbed Aconcagua 11 times.
11 times, yeah. 10 wasn't enough.
No. We got people who guide to Machu Picchu. They've been doing it for over 15 years. I mean, I always think, having a good guide can be the difference between having a good and a bad trip.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and that's what we try and aim for, is to have Evertrek kind of guides that match what kind of trip we would like, and that's how we've kind of built our trips.
Yeah.
So I hope, definitely, that happens when you're out there. And yeah, but in terms of medevac, yeah, we've got all those high altitude evacuation things in place. Yeah.
Awesome. We've had a couple of questions about vaccinations.
Lovely old vaxes,
it's very, very important. As Andy knows, I'm a pincushion. So whenever I go to these places, I'll just they're like, do you want this? I'm like, put it in. But so Hep A, tetanus and typhoid are pretty much the essentials that all travelers must have.
Yeah.
I did look up briefly what the optional ones were, but pretty much it's the same sort of deal as Nepal. Those of you who are quite familiar with that, so diphtheria, Hep B, MMR, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have sent a link to the guide, so hopefully they're going to post that as well.
Yeah.
And it's a little link to a Nomad Travel Clinic where I always go to kind of like just double check what vaccinations are needed and things like that. So
nice. I think Sheena Blackmore asked. We'll ask probably another 5 questions. I feel like we should be announcing the winner soon.
I forgot about that.
I think what we'll do is we'll answer some more of these questions afterwards, because we've got I know there's a lot of people on here who are keen to find out who's winning. I know the excitement is building as well, so we don't want to leave you dangling for too long. We just want a couple more questions. Sheena, other tents solo or pairs? So actually the tents, are actually 3-person tents, but they do generally it's 2 people sharing. There is an option on our, because the second section is camping, is all camping pretty much. You have one bit where you get to Machu Picchu, it's in like a local lodge. But all the others, sometimes if it's really busy, but it really gets busy on this week. We've kind of worked out like emergency that you'd have to share with 3 of you in this tent. Highly likely won't happen, but normally it's just 2 people. It's the same on all of our treks worldwide, although we can do. What happened there?
The sound is bad. So
again?
I'm hitting the mic again.
Oh, really? That's weird, isn't it? Maybe if I speak hello, by here. Weird, isn't it? It's only when we speak. But yeah, sorry guys. I hope, are we coming through okay now?
I feel
thumbs up.
I feel like the microphone is not playing ball today, is it?
It's not. There we go. That's better. It might be a bit of a loose connection, so hopefully that's good. I'll tell you what, we'll do one more question, Dave, and then we're going to announce the winner.
One more question.
Any biggies out there?
Okay, I'm going to do a quick.
You're gonna do it.
I'm just going to filibuster.
I'll tell you what. There's one there. So your route is different to the Inca Trail. From Sheena again.
It is. Wow. Yeah. So Sheena, I recommend I'll give a brief one now, but we give a really good one at the beginning. So it is different. We go on a more off the beaten track route. We do like dip into the Inca Trail at a certain point, but essentially we're going in pretty much like the opposite direction. And we do that because we don't want to join a giant procession. Tourist areas always do get a bit congested. The Inca Trail is still amazing, but we wanted something that gave you a little taste of the wild. You do get because you may have missed the Trail 104. That's kind of the last section that goes up. That is the old Inca Trail. You will get to see some of it, but because the Inca Trail is so strict with permits and so busy, again we looked at feedback of customers who've just gone out recently in the last couple of months, and they said the busiest part of the trek was that. So that kind of reinforced our decision in terms of the route that we chose. We're being shouted at, and Shona was saying, "Do the announcement now while the mic's working."
Okay,
we will. Remember, we did it before, but it was flipped.
Yeah, exactly. So now people can see it. You got it? Are you ready?
I have got it.
I feel like we need a drum roll.
So what do we do? Do you want me to like bring it up?
Yeah, we'll bring it up.
Bring it in from the side.
That's all good.
We'll go up.
Right. So as we said, so the winner we'll reach out to them as soon as we're off the live. We'll drop them an email. Not yet, Dave. Calm down. Down, boy. And we'll drop them in. Look, the person who wins, like I said, you get to choose a mate or friend, family who you want to go with,
or Evertrek Yeti,
or Dave. Clearly, I know there's some other Yetis in the other room who would like the opportunity, but no. I say you get to choose someone, and good luck. Like I said, it's been our biggest competition we've ever done, over 19,000 people. So I know that's a bit nuts, really, thinking about it. But it is a great trip. We hope you have an awesome time. If you're not a winner, something we've done in the past, there are some runner-up prizes and things. So we will, do check your inboxes after the live. You might see some things in there for anything. If you are keen, you're not the winner, but you still want to do it. This is what we do, guys. We'd love to assist you on that journey and share the adventure with you. Dave, let's do it. I can feel you're ready.
Yeah, and the winner is Rishi. Sorry, that's that's the wrong one, isn't it?
Let's hope.
The winner.
I think you might have to move back a bit.
Okay, so the winner. So you got it there.
Okay, the winner. Yes, Dave,
Kimberly Evans.
Kimberly. Awesome.
There you go,
Kimberly on the live.
Yeah, congratulations, Kimberly. If you are here,
I feel like we need to go back a bit.
Give us a shout. Yeah, so we need back a bit more. I'm going to hold that up there. So
here we go. Walk back.
Hey, walk
back.
We could be like the Fonz.
Here we go.
Kimberly Evans. Hey. So congratulations, Kimberly.
Hey, Kimberly. Congratulations.
Yourself and a very, very lucky person is going to be going with you. Right. Better luck next time. Clearly those undercrackers didn't work.
I know. Is she on the live? I didn't see. She might be on the live. She might be working. Anyway, we'll be reaching out to her. If she is on the live, do drop. That's not how you spell my name.
Yeah, we've had a couple of them.
I know. Yeah, congrats, guys. Congrats. It's been a great competition.
I always have to fight the urge, just to go. And it's Brian. No, sorry, but I wouldn't be that cruel to him. But I know he would do it to me. That's the problem.
It's 19,000 to 1, pretty much. It's hard.
Yeah, no, it is hard. I keep trying for you, Brian. At least you guys get a chance. The only 2 people, 100% guaranteed not to win.
Well, yeah. None of the team can win that, unfortunately. But obviously, thank you for being a huge part of that competition. It's been amazing. But yeah, we'll continue. We've got about another 15 minutes, so we're going to crack on. We'll answer some more of these questions. Yeah. We'll try and get through. Even if we go to about an hour and we don't get them, we'll try and jump back on. Yeah. And just get your questions answered, because that's what these are for. And if you've got to go, great. Thanks for being part of the journey with us on this one. Certainly been a bit crazy. But yeah, if you do and you are rushed off, come and join us every Tuesday. This is we do answer these questions about random subjects, as you may see. Any question is fine. Like, we know people are on different parts of the journey. We're trekkers like you. We're travelers. We were once at the beginning thinking about altitude. I remember the first time I went to altitude, because I'm an asthma sufferer. I was like, oh my God, can I do it? Will I be okay? And then just through educating myself and doing these things, you kind of get a bit of an idea about what lays in store.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We share our experiences.
Kimberly Evans is here.
Yes,
she's here.
She's here.
Congratulations.
Oh, I think she's crying. Oh wow. Well, we didn't want to make you cry, Kim. Congratulations, Kimberly. It's great that you're on the live.
I love it when they're here. I imagine she didn't reply right away because she was going.
I think she's probably like, what the heck?
Yeah. Honestly, Kimberly, super congratulations. It's one of the.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It is the best part of my job.
Yeah,
it's holding that sign up.
It's cool, isn't it? It's
absolutely.
We know it's people who've won some of our previous competitions, and you never won anything. No worries. Yeah, some people have, like some of our previous winners, like Kate. I remember EBC back in 2019.
We had Kate on a live.
Change people's lives, and yeah, mate, you're gonna enjoy this one.
Honestly, so yeah, we'll drop you an email.
Yeah.
And essentially, do you know what's going to get you excited now? We just need to know when you want to go.
That's it.
Yeah. and we'll get you on. And that's it, and then it's done. And awesome,
great stuff. We got 15 minutes. Let's go through these questions.
I did find one, but I can't see it anymore. But it was about whether it's possible to do the trek with type 1 diabetes.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I wanted to answer it because we have had it before. And if you did, Danny, if you find it and point it out to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the question, certainly. So we got, when you come on a trek with us, it's always good to know. We do have bits and pieces you can put.
It was Megan.
Is it Megan?
Megan Clifford-Clark.
So when it comes to Sam again? Oh my god! I think we should use a different mic there next time. Yeah. I was going to get right. Can you hear us now? Just before we go into it, is that sound gone again? Hello. I got an idea. You're going to do it. I am going to change the microphone. Excuse me, everyone. Over to the camera. Hey guys, it's Andy here. Right, that'll be good.
Hey, welcome to the Tuesday Tune In.
There we go. Is that better? Because I've now shifted the microphone. The Yeti microphone is thumbs up now. Thumbs up. It should be getting it now.
This is where they tell us that the microphone that comes just built in with the camera is 50 times better than the
actual one, right? Wow.
Is that better? Everyone's saying it's better.
Oh,
I mean, is it better just because the other one was broke, or do you think it's better anyway overall? I'd be interested to know.
It would.
Anyway,
it's the audio, because some people listen to this on our podcast, Mountain Malarkey podcast, or YouTube. I hope we're coming through okay.
YouTube. It's going to be big one day. I'm telling you. So is the internet.
Right, let's get these questions.
Right, okay. Megan Clifford-Clark, type 1 diabetes. Yes, it is completely possible to do the trip with type 1 diabetes. Obviously, we'll need to know in advance, and so will the guide and everything there. The most important thing, the onus is on you to make sure that you have everything you need and backups of those things. We, trekking with, say like someone with asthma, they have an inhaler on them, but they also have a spare that's perhaps with the guide.
Yeah.
So the guide knows where it is to get it. So if you have any backup medication and things like that you need, and also with regards to taking regular breaks to control your blood sugar levels, that's completely fine as well. If anything, we encourage it for everybody to take regular breaks, especially if you start to feel like you're feeling a bit unwell and you need to have a rest and eat some snacks or adjust whatever you need to adjust. It's entirely possible. We actually had a guy
recently, who
type 1 diabetes that went to base camp, I think it was.
We did actually. And he was fine.
Yeah, absolutely fine, as long as you let us know your dietary requirements, what medication you need, and a main thing obviously is that you get the insurance all covered as well. 100%. We'll love to have you on the trip.
Harriet, I know not necessarily about Peru, but we'll still answer it. Climbing Kili in September. I was wondering, what was the best piece of kit you can have? Any tips for washing? Any tips for altitude sickness? Yeah, there's a few things going on there, but she's already in Arusha. Awesome, love Arusha. So in terms of the best piece of kit you can have, we think is looking after your feet. If you're going on a trek, gotta look after your feet, because they struggle. It's gonna be a heck of a bad trip. So yeah, in terms of your boots, making sure you have good footwear is the most important one. Any tips for washing? It's quite hard on Kili. I think because there's not a lot, because you're camping, essentially you're in camps going up to the summit. There's not a lot of opportunities to wash. Is that dry soap that you can kind of spray on clothes. I know you got like Febreze and stuff to freshen it up.
Yeah.
What is the one that was recommended a few weeks back? I forgot the name of it. and you basically it's like dry soap, but it cleans your clothes just by spraying it.
Yeah,
What's it called?
I gave one to Fee to use.
Ah.
It was called like, oh, do you know what?
If anyone knows the name of that,
Mick Hamilton is on here,
Yeah.
and when I met Mick on a training weekend, he had a bottle of it. You spray it on your clothes, and then the next day they freshen, and it kind of gets rid of all the it's antimicrobial. And I've been buying it ever since, but I've been so autopilot with it, I've forgotten the name. It's something like clothes to go or wash to go or something like that. But yeah, it's really
Wash to go. Love it.
Generally speaking, I'll always bring wet wipes with me. A couple of Ziploc bags as well to put those wet wipes in, because I do take them back off the mountain.
I love Charlotte. Don't worry about cleaning your clothes. I was also going to say that.
Yeah. I mean,
you will. On a mountain, on an expedition, everyone smells the same.
Kili is tricky as well because it's so dusty.
It is.
What I found was when I washed on Kili, I walked in the tent, I wiped myself down, had a wash, put my wet wipes away, walked outside. If anything, I made myself stickier because I was slightly damp and I was dirtier than when I went in. So on Kili, do you know what I would advise? Bit of dry shampoo, maybe to stop your head itching. Everything else, brush your teeth, crack on. Nothing else.
Smell.
Yeah, it's
brilliant. Gary, when on a trek, can couples sleep in the same room, or is it male with male and male with female with female? So we always, if you are traveling with your partner or a friend, we always try and match you guys up. Because if you're traveling with someone, that's cool. We don't like purposely divide you. There might be like the odd person on. Like I struggle to remember this on all the trips we do, and we run probably 80 to 90 treks to Everest Base Camp a year. Just put it in context. Different groups, similar kind of, I'd say about 60 to Kilimanjaro, only about 10 to Machu Picchu because it's a smaller market. But when it comes to numbers of people, it's never really been an issue in terms of like, you have to share with that person. It's very doesn't happen.
The one rule is it's in our terms and conditions.
Happen often. Try to get my words out.
If it is in our terms and conditions, though, that if you conceive on a trip, you have to call your kid Evertrek. That is the terms and conditions. But generally,
we have people who met on Evertrek trips and have been married. Which is
quite
interesting.
I mean, they met on a training weekend, engaged on a trip, and then married back.
And married and went back.
Which is
amazing. Love it.
Do we run any singles treks? Not specifically, but our treks are open to anybody and anyone.
Yeah, it's mixed.
I would say it's almost a 50-50 split between singles and couples and men and women.
More singles, I'd say. Solo travelers is just over 50%.
And again, I would say more single, like solo girls. Than guys.
100%.
I think they're just braver.
I think it comes down to looking. We always like not to go too deep into it because we could talk about this for ages. Just looking at the data, and from other travel companies as well. We're part of the Adventure Travel Trade Association. They send us stats and different things, and certainly I think guys like for some reason just prefer to go with a mate, whereas some girls will want to go, and if they can't find someone to go, they'll go anyway. That seems to be the way forward. I know that's not not to throw a blanket over everyone, but that just seems to be the way of the world, I think. Certainly in the UK, they get a lot of solo traveler women. So
Amanda Bateman has said, "What sort of luxury item?" So I'm assuming that's like a.
What would it take? What would be a luxury item?
Like if this is desert island disc rules, you're allowed one luxury item. You can't have any practical use. So you can't bring like a Leatherman or something like that. It's something purely luxury, like a pillow or something.
Pillow. I used to take my iPad just so I can, if I'm chilling in the evenings, I can watch some Game of Thrones or something.
That's a good answer.
I know.
I was thinking like MP3 player for music with the iPad.
Unless you want a digital detox, you don't have to take them. But sometimes nice to have an option.
I would
keep in touch with people, right?
I would bring something that I could access Audible on.
Okay.
Because
you listen to podcasts.
Instead of just one book, I'll have like thousands of books and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
Nice.
Love desert island discs.
So I'm just so many questions. I'm just wondering which ones. Oh, here we go. Okay, Michelle, is it safe to go into Machu Picchu at 67? I have a pacemaker and on epileptic tablets. So yes, Michelle, obviously a lot going on. I'd say, firstly, we always recommend chat with your GP first, just what's their opinion on you going to high altitude. We have had people who have done this and spoke to the GP and they're like, no, you can't go. So have a chat with them. If there's any issues or you think that they're recommending, look, don't. You can talk to a high altitude specialist. nomad health clinics, for example. There's plenty of if you give it a quick Google, there's lots out there who can give you their professional opinion. We have had customers with similar issues. I think there's even customers on and Evertrekkers on here who have had heart conditions and things like that. They've gone to high altitude, they've been fine. Obviously, your body is put under more strain at high altitude because it's working harder to get the oxygen around your body. So you have got to take that into account. But like Dave said earlier, any medical condition, make sure you get insurance for it. If you've insured, we'd love to take you and help you on this journey. Obviously, there's going to be, there's going to be things that are happening that might be different.
Yeah.
So as long as the guide knows, as long as we know, we can manage it for you. And we don't want to say no. We were like, okay, but how can we help you? How can we make that happen for you? Because, I don't want to say no and say, that's it, end of your dream. Because I know there's people who've been there in their 70s who've had heart conditions and, have told us and they still done it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's we always say, like, how do you feel about it first? We'd love to have a conversation and help you on that journey, but I do recommend having a chat with GP first. They know you better, and especially specialist around that.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I'd agree. Yeah, 100%. They know you guys. They know the medical history, and I think if they're happy, we're happy.
Yeah.
Morgan Coyne. I bet some of the views are amazing. They are. In life, you've got to experience different places and cultures. I 100% agree. I think travel broadens the mind, enriches you as a person. It's amazing. Question: where's the best place you've ever visited or trekked? Wow, this is a tough one.
That's a biggie.
Best place you've ever visited or trekked to. Would love to hear your experiences. That's like a whole other live, I think. I think mine's easy because the trek that changed everything for me was just going classic Everest base camp route.
Oh yeah.
And it was something that I never believed I could do. Like perhaps a year or 2 years before I actually went, it was impossible.
Yeah. Like
obese, unfit, stuck in a job that I could never leave, and then
changed your life. Huh?
It changed my life. I don't know. I went there and it completely revolutionized my way of thinking. I was a different Dave landed back at Heathrow from the one that left. So that would be me. What would you say? Yours? I have to get EDC in there first.
I know. Well, you think now. I know we're here to talk about Peru, but no, you're right. When you first go to high altitude for the first time, you can't help but be influenced by it. And yeah, my, I think it was the earlier that year, in 2016, went to Everest Base Camp, and it was like, that kind of opened my eyes and came back and set the business up that you see now, which is a bit mad how it's changed, but it's essentially still the same. Going out to a place, having a wonderful time, meeting awesome people, experiencing the landscape and the cultures, and challenging yourself.
Yeah.
And you go back to those simple things. It's special. But anywhere you go, if you're going to Machu Picchu, if you're going to try and take on Kilimanjaro, I think Lucy popped up in the comments there, who we met a while back. I think it was in 2018, Lucy, and obviously been on some of our trips as well with Base Camp and now Kili, and all the trips are great in their own particular way. Like I seriously have a really big affinity with Scotland. The trekking, the landscape, the people, I just love it up there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Nepal. There's some great places in Tanzania. Can't get away from it. Penavan's all right. Yeah,
Penavan's all right.
Sometimes I want to get away
from it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, amazing. Oh, and someone said about Canada then as well being amazing. I think Charlotte said
Canada on my list.
I really want to. I want to. Charlotte. I want to go to Whistler.
Yeah, do some skiing. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
I want to go in summer.
Well, look, I think we've come to about an hour now. So yeah, we hope we've answered a lot of questions. We will try and jump back in and answer some of them. If we haven't, and you really have that pressing question you want answered, you're thinking about potentially going on a trip, and there's something that's maybe on your mind, and you want to clarify, drop us a message, info@evertrek.co.uk. Obviously you can send it as well to we've got the intercom, which is basically our messenger on the website. Definitely drop it in there, because one of our team will get back to you. As I said, if you enter the competition and you're looking forward to go, and obviously you're not, Kimberly, we'd love to help you on your journey, and do check your emails this afternoon. We do like to offer some runner-up prizes and things like that. So yeah, do look at those. And Dave, any final words for today? A big one.
One day I'll start preparing before you ask me. But no, honestly, thank you very much. Such a thank you to everyone who's tuned in today. Hopefully we'll see you back on another Tuesday. Tune in as well. It's an amazing experience to give Kimberly the opportunity to go to Machu Picchu with a friend, like all of these competitions. But honestly, we couldn't offer those things if it wasn't for everyone in the community, every ever trekker that's ever graced our door, just supporting us and being there, and so many more years and so many more adventures to be had. Let's do it.
Exactly. Couldn't put it better myself, mate. Well, lovely. Well, we'll see you next week. I say any questions, drop them into us. Kimberly will be reaching out to you, and check your emails this afternoon, and we'll catch you next week.
Take it easy.
Bye. Cheers, guys.